Hello, I'm Rebekka from Bekbek Makes, a UK-based UV resin craft kit company, but my business started life as a handmade jewellery brand. I'm stocked all over the world, but my main distributor is based in Japan, and they recently invited me to travel to a British fair to demonstrate my jewellery making. After a very long flight, I arrived in Tokyo. I went straight to the hotel and then proceeded to try and fend off jet lag. Over the next few videos, I want to share with you what it's like being the owner of a creative small business. I'll also be visiting every stationery and craft shop I can find, and obviously doing some arts and crafts. So if that's what you're into, please stick around. I took a little walk to a local temple, and this one was dedicated to fertility and families.
Hello, I'm just about to head out now to go to the department store to set up my demo space.
I was invited by Mitsukoshi department store, and I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. The Mitsukoshi department store is a very prestigious department store in Tokyo. They host an incredibly popular British fair where everything is British made, from the scones to the antiques to the handmade jewellery. Once I'd dropped off everything I needed for my demonstration, they asked me to film some promo pieces.
It's finished?
Oh, do a little way. Oh, wait.
Take two. Take two.
I was also filmed by a Japanese TV station whilst I was here, but I have no idea where that aired.
Thank you, Red.
Quite a lot of the buildings in Japan have rooftop gardens, and they're beautiful. Like this one had a full-on pond.
The heat is actually killing me at the moment. Look how red I am. But I've just gone and got an iced lolly, and it is great flavour and it's so nice.
I headed into Ginza to find the first stationery shop on my list. Itoya is located in such a posh area, but it is massive and so cool. Look how many floors it has. Something I noticed in every stationery and craft store I visited during this trip was letter writing is such a big deal there. Like, there were so many different little notes and envelopes and full writing sets. It was so pretty. They had a display by artist Moko Kobayashi. Apologies if I pronounced that wrong. But you know how much I love illustrated jewellery pieces, and these were made with tiny little beads. These are some of the designs on her website, and I just thought they were so fun. As I continued to explore the store, what struck me was the sheer variation there was available. Like, if you liked a product, they had it in every single colour you could imagine. I'm probably so behind the times here, but I hadn't ever seen the wax sticks you could put in like a glue gun to make your wax stamps with. These little wooden shapes are really cute. They're made in France and they're actually buttons. These were so sweet. They're little accordions that you can decorate yourself and they actually play. Whilst in Japan, I wanted to attend some crafting workshops, but it really doesn't seem to be a big thing there. So I opted for visiting as many stationery and craft shops as I could find instead. There were a couple for kintsugi, but they were on when I was working. I thought these bead brooch kits were really sweet. They had absolutely loads of these little tiny paper scenes you could build, and they were so delicate. You just pop the little shapes out of these packs and then assemble them. I really love shopping here, but realised it's definitely more of a stationery and art supplies store than a craft store. Everything was so beautifully curated and you could just spend hours just looking through the designs. Fake food is a massive industry in Japan, but I'll go into more detail about that in a later video, but that's why you see things like this everywhere. By the time I left Itoya, it was night time, but I felt completely safe walking back to my hotel.
Good morning. Today is the first day of the show, so I'm about to walk down to the department store and get everything set up ready for the day.
I've worked with my Japanese distributors for many years and they travel all around Japan attending British fairs, selling my handmade jewellery, along with British antiques. It's actually crazy to think I make thousands of handmade pieces of jewellery for them each year, and it's not until they're all laid out in front of me like this that you realise the sheer volume of it. To prepare for my demonstrations, I brought lots of wooden blanks, a wide selection of glitter, my paint pens, and absolutely loads of the UV resin. For this event, they also commissioned these large versions of my designs. I'm just stood outside the department store that I'm working at, and it is absolutely ginormous. On the first day of the event, it was members only, and they had the option to customise a Queen pin badge. I didn't manage to get much footage of the event itself, as we could only film when it was quiet because we had to be respectful of the customers. So in between custom orders, I just worked away on my other designs. This sign made me laugh. It reminded me of when you go to a zoo and you see animals in their habitats. Japanese hospitality is beyond kind, and that evening they took me out for a meal to a really fancy Japanese restaurant. I honestly had no idea what I was eating, but the family I work with are such lovely people and they talked me through each course. But I did not eat that squid. It was actually really interesting because there's no way I would have ever ordered these things for myself. So apparently in Japanese, hara means stomach and peko means appetite. So this brooch translates to strong appetite brooch. So with this little kit, the intention is you embroider using the beads onto a piece of like felt material and create your design that way. And with this necklace kit, it looks like you just string the beads on in a pattern to build up your design, but I'm probably oversimplifying that. I always like to see what's included in kits because sometimes there's elements you wouldn't even think of. I won't be doing these on camera, but just wanted to show you what was inside. However, these kits did inspire the silicone mould I designed at the end of this video. I also got these little souvenirs. They're patches, but you can also attach them to your mobile phone. I just thought they were really sweet. When I was in Shinjuku for the day, I visited another Itoya store, but it was inside a department store, so it was a lot smaller than the previous one. So, this is the mould I've designed for this video. Can you guess what it's for? It comes in 2 sizes and can be used to make beads. I've made all sorts of bead moulds in the past, and the thing that's tricky with them is you have to be able to get the bead out, and quite often the silicone will tear. So I've gone with a really super simple bead mould here where it's flat on the top and the bottom, and I'm prototyping some more complex beads. I also created a Japan inspired kit which you can see in my previous video. I recommend wearing gloves for this project because you're about to scrape it into all of these tiny little holes and it'll get quite messy, but there's no way to avoid it. You need to be like poking the resin into the holes to make sure there's no bubbles trapped underneath. And then it really is that simple. You just fill up the mould, scrape off the excess and cure it under the UV light for 2 to 4 minutes. Remember to flip your mould over and cure from the reverse. Because it's quite messy, you're going to have like little bits of residue on the edge of your beads, and you just want to gently break these off. These particular beads are 6mm deep. And there you have it, a perfectly formed little bead. This mould is 3mm deep, and you just want to repeat the exact same process. With the purple beads, I just used glitter from my glitter stash, and here I'm using a solid pink pigment and mixing that directly into the UV resin. Once your design is fully cured and you've removed all the residue off the edges of the beads, you're ready to string them together. When I turned this mould over, I noticed I'd trapped air bubbles in, and this happens when you're scraping the resin into the mould, so you just want to make sure that you're agitating the UV resin a little bit before you cure it. Then I just started to string the beads onto some clear elastic to create a bracelet. On a few of the beads I'd accidentally left resin over the top of the hole, so I'm just using a pin here to poke them through. And then obviously if you need your bracelet to be bigger, you just make another batch of beads. I know this is a super basic project, but I actually found it really fun. Thank you so much for watching, and there'll be more videos in this Japan series coming up. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more videos from us.